Simple way to eliminate procrastination for good. The big problem introduction. Procrastination. It's the quiet and clever thief that steals more dreams than failure ever could. It doesn't break into your life with a loud crash. It doesn't threaten you. It doesn't warn you. It walks in gently, soft-spoken, polite, almost friendly, and whispers the most seductive words in the world. Do it later. You've heard that voice. You've lived with that voice. You've partnered with that voice more times than you'd like to admit. You wake up with ambition. You feel the energy of a new day. You promise yourself, today will be different. But then something strangely familiar happens. The hours begin to slide. You reorganize your desk. You recheck something you already checked. You scroll through a few updates just to clear your mind. And suddenly, the day is half gone, then mostly gone, then completely gone. And yet, nothing dangerous happened. No alarm sounded. Nothing exploded. Nothing collapsed. And that's the danger. Procrastination doesn't destroy life in dramatic blows. It dissolves it slowly, quietly, invisibly. Not by what it does, but by what it delays. Not by what it breaks, but by what it prevents. It prevents your potential. It prevents your growth. It prevents your future. The human being can recover from failure. The human being can recover from mistakes, but it is nearly impossible to recover from the days you never lived because you kept telling yourself you'd begin tomorrow. Procrastination is the enemy that feels like a friend. It comforts you while it disarms you. It relaxes you while it restrains you. It protects you while it quietly imprisons you. Millions of people are stuck today, not because they lack ideas, not because they lack talent, not because success is out of reach, but because the art of delay has become their daily habit. And habits, if left unmanaged, become destiny. But here's the hope, the powerful truth. Procrastination is not a personality trait. It is not part of your DNA. It is simply a system, a pattern, a repeated philosophy. And when you change the philosophy, you change the pattern. When you change the pattern, you change your life. In this message, I will give you a complete blueprint, a practical, powerful, straightforward system that will help you eliminate procrastination for good. Not temporarily, not for a week, for good. Let's begin. The system overview. If procrastination is a silent system working against you, then the only way to break free is to build a stronger system that works for you. A system that doesn't depend on mood or motivation. A system that doesn't collapse when life becomes busy or uncertain. A system that guides you, supports you, and keeps you accountable even when the old habits try to sneak back in. So today, I will share with you 5 fundamental shifts, 5 principles that, when practiced consistently, dismantle the root causes of procrastination and build a new foundation of discipline, clarity, and movement. These are not abstract theories. These are not slogans or feel-good ideas. These are practical, actionable, life-changing philosophies that work in the real world. Here are the 5 principles. The clarity compass, because you cannot act consistently on what you cannot see clearly. The emotion trap, because most procrastination is emotional, not logical. The momentum myth, because people wait for motivation instead of generating movement. The discipline anchor, because real freedom is built on self-leadership. The identity shift, because you cannot outwork the person you believe yourself to be. When these principles come together, something remarkable happens. Your mind becomes sharper. Your decisions become easier. Your actions become consistent. And procrastination, the old familiar visitor, can no longer find a place to live in your life. Let's break down each principle one by one. The 5 principles. 1. The clarity compass. A. The concept. Procrastination begins where clarity ends. The mind is built to take action when the path is visible and to hesitate when the path is foggy. The first principle, the clarity compass, is about removing the fog. B. The subtle danger. Most people don't procrastinate because they are lazy. They procrastinate because they are unclear. They don't know what to do first. They don't know what matters most. They don't know the difference between the essential and the optional. And when the brain doesn't know where to start, it doesn't start at all. Procrastination loves confusion. It thrives on uncertainty. When everything feels urgent, nothing gets done. When everything feels big, everything gets delayed. C. Metaphor. Story. Imagine trying to drive across a city with no map, no GPS, no signs, and no idea which direction leads where. You wouldn't speed up. You wouldn't take decisive turns. You'd slow down, hesitate, second guess, maybe even stop the car entirely. And not because you lack ability, but because you lack direction. That's life without clarity. Your goals can be meaningful, but without a map, you wander instead of move. D. The cure. The cure is structured clarity. A simple daily compass. What is my number 1 priority today? Not the top 3, not the top 10. The number 1. What are the top 3 supporting actions? What is the clear finish line for today's work? Not vague effort, defined completion. Clarity creates urgency. Urgency creates action. Action dissolves procrastination. E. Reinforce and connect. When you master your emotions, procrastination loses its greatest weapon. 2. The emotion trap. A. The concept. People don't procrastinate because the task is difficult. They procrastinate because the feeling attached to the task is uncomfortable. The emotion trap explains why logic fails and delay wins. B. The subtle danger. You can know exactly what to do and still avoid it. Why? Because the brain is wired to choose emotional safety over logical progress. If something feels uncertain, overwhelming, embarrassing, or exhausting, you'll unconsciously delay it, even if it matters deeply. This is why willpower fails. This is why trying harder doesn't work. Procrastination is emotional, not intellectual. C. Metaphor. Story. Think of a child who refuses to jump into a swimming pool, even though the water is perfectly safe. Their logic says, it's fine. Their emotions say, danger. And emotions win. Adults do the same thing, only our pools are emails, projects, conversations, applications, ambitions. D. The cure. You must separate the task from the emotion. Try this technique. Name the feeling, shrink the feeling, act anyway. I feel overwhelmed. I feel unsure. I feel unprepared. I feel intimidated. Naming the emotion reduces its intensity by half. Shrinking the emotion disconnects it from the task. Acting anyway builds new emotional wiring. And here is the golden rule. Action creates the emotion you want, not the other way around. E. Reinforce and connect. When you master your emotions, procrastination loses its greatest weapon. 3. The momentum myth. A. The concept. Most people wait to feel ready. They wait for motivation. They wait for the right day. But momentum is not something you wait for, It's something you create. B. The subtle danger. The myth is simple. I'll start when I feel motivated. But motivation is like weather, unpredictable, unstable, inconsistent. You cannot build a life on weather patterns. You need a furnace, not a forecast. C. Metaphor. Story. A train at rest requires massive energy to start moving, but once it's moving, even slowly, it becomes almost impossible to stop. That's momentum. Human beings are the same. Starting is hard, continuing is easy. Procrastinators are not broken, they simply never generate the initial push. D. The cure. You must separate the task from the emotion. Try this technique. Name the feeling, shrink the feeling, act anyway. I feel overwhelmed. I feel unsure. I feel unprepared. I feel intimidated. Naming the emotion reduces its intensity by half. Shrinking the emotion disconnects it from the task. Acting anyway builds new emotional wiring. And here is the golden rule. Action creates the emotion you want, not the other way around. E. Reinforce and connect. When you master your emotions, procrastination loses its greatest weapon. 3. The momentum myth. A. The concept. Most people wait to feel ready. They wait for motivation. They wait for the right day. But momentum is not something you wait for, it's something you create. B. The subtle danger. The myth is simple. I'll start when I feel motivated. But motivation is like weather, unpredictable, unstable, inconsistent. You cannot build a life on weather patterns. You need a furnace, not a forecast. Metaphor/story. A train at rest requires massive energy to start moving. But once it's moving, even slowly, it becomes almost impossible to stop. That's momentum. Human beings are the same. Starting is hard, continuing is easy. Procrastinators are not broken, they simply never generate the initial push. D. The cure. The cure is the 2-minute trigger. Commit to just 2 minutes of the task. 2 minutes of writing, 2 minutes of cleaning, 2 minutes of planning, 2 minutes of starting. Why 2 minutes? Because 2 minutes bypasses resistance. And once you begin, your brain shifts from avoidance to engagement. 2 minutes create momentum. Momentum dissolves procrastination. E. Reinforce and connect. When you master your momentum, procrastination has no oxygen to survive. 5. The identity shift. A. The concept. You cannot permanently change your behavior until you change the story you believe about yourself. This is the deepest layer, the identity layer. B. The subtle danger. If you see yourself as someone who always procrastinates, you will act in alignment with that identity, even when you try to change. Behavior follows belief. Metaphor/story. A thermostat in a room is set to a certain temperature. You can open the window and let cold air in, but eventually the thermostat returns the room to the original setting. Likewise, you can force bursts of productivity, but if your internal identity is set to "I'm someone who delays," you'll return to delay. D. The cure. Raise the identity setting. Adopt a new internal statement. I am a finisher. I am a person of action. I follow through. My word is my contract. Repeat it daily. Act on it consistently. Align your choices with your new identity. Slowly, your brain accepts the new story, and your behavior follows automatically. E. Reinforce and connect. When identity changes, procrastination no longer feels natural. Action becomes your new default. The unifying conclusion: call to action and empowerment. We began this journey by exposing the quiet thief called procrastination, a thief that steals not by force but by permission, a thief that delays your life not with violence but with suggestion. And now you have the system to eliminate it for good. Clarity gives you direction. Emotional mastery gives you courage. Momentum gives you movement. Discipline gives you structure. Identity gives you transformation. Put these principles together, and procrastination cannot survive in the environment you create. It has no room, no oxygen, no entry point. Remember this: your life changes the moment you decide that delay is no longer an option. Your future begins the moment you stop negotiating with your potential. The next chapter of your life is written not by the things you imagine, but by the things you begin. So today, not tomorrow, make the decision that has the power to reshape everything. No more waiting, no more drifting, no more later, no more someday. You are the author of your actions. You are the builder of your habits. You are the designer of your destiny. Start small, start simple, start now, but start. Because the moment you begin, something extraordinary happens. The life you've postponed finally begins to unfold. The person you were meant to become finally steps forward. And the dreams that once felt distant begin to feel inevitable. This is your time. This is your turning point. This is the end of procrastination and the beginning of the life you were always capable of living. Begin today. Begin now. Begin with purpose. And stay in motion.